So, Emily, I noticed you didn't do a costume change.
No, I'm afraid not. Unlike you, you look beautiful. Number 3, costume change.
I'll take it because I'm an actress, but you are, you know, the executive director of SG. Oh, and here comes our third guest. Hi, Alfian!
Hi, hello, how are you?
Anyway, in case everyone is wondering and you've been living under a rock so you don't know who our third guest is, it's none other than Alfian Saad. So you might know him as the resident playwright of Wild Rice, but his writing also spans things like short fiction, flash fiction, poetry, and also he is the head mentor for the Youth Jury and Critics program for this year's SGIF. Wow!
Do I put on my seatbelt?
Yes, you should.
I do, right?
Safety first.
Yep.
So Alfian,
Yes.
did you notice who is driving this Beamer for you?
I think it's Emily, isn't it?
It is Emily.
Hello, Alfian.
Hi Emily.
So we really wanted to make you feel like a star today, right?
Oh.
So I'm also going to show off a few features to make you feel comfortable.
Sure. Yeah.
BMW, we're a bit warm.
I will lower the temperature. It will be more comfortable shortly.
You didn't even have to say it in German.
I know.
Yeah.
It's great, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Alfian, I mean,
Yes.
you are a man of many disciplines, right? So a lot of people know you in the literary world, in the theatrical world, and now you are in the filmic world as well, like heading this sort of like a youth jury and critics program. Like, how did you end up here?
I think I have written bits of criticism before,
Yeah.
and, mostly for theatre, so theatre reviewing, but I've always had an interest in film as well. And I do think that as a reviewer, you know, whatever art form that you write for, I think there's some kind of like fundamental, those things have in common.
Right. What do you think that the young people you'll be mentoring, should be looking out for in terms of writing a good review, especially for film?
I think one of the things to avoid is to not just regurgitate a synopsis. There should be some kind of analysis. There should be a kind of, so what you think of the film, what did you feel about the film, and also don't be bitchy lah. I think they might have more views if they take on a certain kind of tone, the acid tongue, if they're sarcastic, if there's a sort of like a particularly vicious turn of phrase or something like that. Yeah, but I think that's a lot about ego rather than, you know, the work itself.
Right, so essentially remember that reviewing is not about you, it's not a showcase of your own wit, of your own literary skill. It is trying to connect the audience
snark.
to the film.
Yeah, that's
oh,
right.
wow.
And also I think there's a bit of a obligation maybe to advocate for the films that may be a bit more difficult, right? That are for films that you think might struggle to find an audience, not because it's bad, but because it's not an easy film, right? It's not so immediately commercial. I don't want to sound like Scorsese and kind of like throw dirt at the Avengers and the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I mean, to be honest, I think we all love the Avengers. I don't know, I love the Avengers.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
I think it's a guilty pleasure.
Okay, but we both confess to it now, so it's too late.
Yes.
But anyway, I
watch
mean, speaking of that, right? Because I mean, there's so many definitions of what a good film is. So
Yes.
in your mind,
Yeah.
what do you think makes a good film?
Yeah, so I think like 3 basic criteria for me, right? So, does it make you think?
Okay.
Right? So think about what is humanity? What is the state of the world?
Wow.
Why do we exist? You know,
Okay.
those kinds of questions.
Okay.
But also, a good film makes you feel.
Okay.
Right? So obviously, it should move you.
Right.
And lastly, I think a good film should also make you question the form itself.
What do you
right?
mean?
So what I mean is, should ask you a question like, why do I have this kind of reaction to what are practically just moving images with like music, for example, right? And then you sort of like question, is it the editing? Is it like the montage? Is it the acting? Is it the mise en scène? Is it, some examination of the form.
You think so? So I mean, like, what if it's an extremely like classic presentation of a film? Like,
Yeah.
even if, like, for example, if it was a rehashing of like maybe The Sound of Music, like
Right.
one of those really old school golden era of Hollywood films. You know what I mean? I
Yes.
mean, I don't think people would necessarily go like, this is such a new and innovative form of storytelling. But could that be a good film?
Yeah, of course, I think because sometimes with those kinds of films, it's artful because of its apparent artlessness, right?
Right.
That you don't sort of like examine it like, wow, there's so whatever kinds of like trickery or whatever kinds of aesthetic devices that they've used is invisible.
Right.
And that's something that Hollywood has come up with, right? So they have this thing called continuity editing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes you not notice how it's been edited even.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's fascinating. You are such a giant in the Singapore theatre world.
No, like only 1.67 something.
I said in the Singapore theatre world, the real world.
I see, right? Which is filled with midgets, right? The theatre world. So I do stand tall among them.
I do feel a bit midgety next to you in the theatre world, to be honest, Alfian.
No, okay.
But I mean, you know, what do you feel? What films have changed your life and why?
Wow. Okay. That's a very
It was an odd segue. I'm sorry.
huge question. Yes,
Odd
and I
segue
don't
and
think
a
it's
huge
that easy to answer. You know, because what does it mean to change your life, right? Is it like I watch a film and then like after that I'm like I want to quit smoking? You know what I mean?
Did it happen?
Because I think films do encourage you to pick up smoking instead, you know, especially the old Hollywood films, I think. But I would say a film like maybe Ozu's Tokyo Story, for example, right?
okay.
So I remember watching that film and just feeling that there was this like profound sense of humanity,
Yeah.
in that film. And of course, I think you feel it a lot more with films that come from cultures that are quite foreign to your own, right? So you're reading subtitles and then you don't understand why you're so moved by this film. And also Ozu has got a very, very particular style, right? So it's not like Hollywood style at all. A lot of strange kind of like camera angles, and, you know, and the camera also doesn't really move a lot. But yeah, I remember there was one scene in Ozu's Tokyo Story, and you have one character asking another, isn't life disappointing? Yeah.
Okay.
And then this other character who's played by this amazing actress called Setsuko Hara looks at her, smiles, and says, yes, it is. Yeah.
And that's it.
And I was just so moved by that little exchange, I felt. Yeah, because it's, you know, she says it with a smile. I think that for me, was very profound actually.
I see.
You know,
Okay.
that you don't sigh about it, whatever, but somebody else, you smile, and is it like a grit your teeth kind of smile? Is it kind of melancholy, but also mixed in with, kind of grit to want to continue enduring life?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I mean, that's fascinating. I mean, because of course your background is very much stemmed from a theatrical one, you know. I mean, do you feel that film and plays have different effects? I mean, do they have to attain this sort of effect in different ways?
Yeah, I definitely think so. So theatre is life, right?
Yeah. We all feel keenly during this pandemic.
That's right, yes. And theatre, I think a lot of it draws the energy from a live audience, right? So there's a feedback loop that happens between the performers and the audience. But I think there's something about the grammar of film which is also very, very special. So it's interesting. So for me, I have these interesting conversations with filmmakers, right?
Yeah.
And then sometimes we diss one another's art forms. and then I will tell them, oh, you know, with film, right? So whatever's on screen, it's done. It's embalmed. It's
wow.
You know, it's like it's not happening in the time of the now, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, it's like it's a deathly art.
Right,
I would
wow.
say that. And then on the other hand, the filmmakers will tell me, you know, theatre is very boring. They will say because there's only one frame.
Right.
It's just a wide shot, right? There's no close up. There's no, you know, and it's just that location. You can't sort of like jump space, jump time.
Right.
You don't have the edits also, right? So you don't have cuts and the fades and the dissolves and I don't understand the edit, by the way. Yeah, I don't understand the cut.
Right.
Because for me as a theatre maker, like how things shift on stage is you change the lighting state or characters walk in and out, right? But why is a cut? How come cut and then suddenly like, wow, the scene just shifts to something else. I see on one shot, I see a woman's face, then the next shot is a clock. What does this mean like that?
Yeah.
So I'll never become a filmmaker. I don't understand.
But I love that term embalmed because like one person's embalmed is another person's immortalized.
Oh yes,
And
yes,
that's why
yes.
you can watch Ozu today and go like, this is still pertinent to me, this still moves me.
Oh,
This
absolutely.
amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, speaking about all that, right,
Yes.
what is the film you're most looking forward to for this year's SGIF?
Yes, it's a very exciting lineup this year.
Yeah.
The film I'm most looking forward to is a film by an Iranian film director called Panahi,
Okay.
and it's called Hit the Road.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's about a road trip.
Yes, road trip with a family. And I'm especially excited because I'm a huge fan of his father,
Okay.
who's called Jafar Panahi.
Right.
Yeah, also an Iranian filmmaker, and I think, if I'm not wrong, banned from making films in Iran.
Right.
So I think it's so special that he cannot make, so ask the son to make lah. Right? So
There's always ways to get
there are
through
always
red tape.
ways, and the thing is that I remember that even without getting his son to make film, right? I think he also found ways to get around those censorship codes and those regulations and all that. So I think he's got a film called This Is Not a Film.
No.
Yeah.
Right, so that wasn't subject to censorship codes because he told people it wasn't a film.
So I guess
Did that work?
I'm not sure whether it worked or not, but I think it's a bit of provocation, right? To
Yeah.
call what to most people would be a film, to say it's not a film. It's like that Magritte painting, right? This is not a pipe,
Yeah.
but you see a pipe. Yeah.
Well, we'll be seeing This Is Not a Play from Alfian soon.
Wow, that is
not
such a
subject to
wonderful postmodern idea. Right, I don't need to submit it to IMDb at all.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not a play, it's a diary entry.
Yes, that needs to be read
Wow.
by like 100 people at Victoria Theatre.
That's right. Yes, because my life is an open book.
No, but I think it's fantastic, right? I mean, like, I think one of the things that make films so magical is just the fact of how they convey messages in such creative ways. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
and just like, the storytelling is done in so many different ways as well, which is, again, like why you should definitely check out this year's festival. I mean, the range of offerings, they span from, as we were seeing just now, Quen's very personal feature film documentary, sort of like documentary slash movie about the music scene in Singapore, and of course we've got this film Hit the Road as well. Wow, it's crazy. Well, thank you so much, Alfian, for sharing so much with us about your inspirations in film, in theatre, and so on. And so now, what we're going to do is do a 180-degree turn
Sure.
to very frivolous stuff.
You mean the car?
Can you do that, Emily? Can you do a 180-degree turn?
Are we doing a U-turn?
She's just the
Might be
executive
outside of me.
director
I see.
of a film festival.
Right,
She's
okay.
not a real chauffeur.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. You mean like the conversation
The
takes a
conversation,
180-degree
yes.
turn. Okay.
And therefore, I am going to give you some quick fire questions, and you've got a really
Yay.
short time to answer them because,
Sure.
to be honest, our past interviewees took a really long time to think about them. So no, okay, you have maximum of
I
5
will try.
words.
Okay, sure.
What is your favorite color?
Blue.
What is your favorite food? 5.
A chicken with chili padi coconut gravy.
Oh my gosh, okay. Favorite beverage?
Very basic, Coke Zero.
Okay. Favorite country?
Indonesia.
Oh wow, a favorite director?
I would say Abbas Kiarostami.
Okay, favorite song?
I would say Strange Fruit by Billie Holiday.
Favorite artist with an E?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
General?
Yeah. Is it like Mediacorp artist?
No, I don't know. It says your favorite artist. Just choose an artist. I suppose.
I'm gonna say the French actress Isabelle Huppert, but I don't think she would appreciate being called an artiste.
Oh, okay. And favorite film? It's a hard one.
Tokyo Story by Ozu.
Oh wow, of course. Favorite phrase or quote?
I kind of like saying kind of a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
And finally, who is your favorite author?
I should know this. I would say my mentor Harish Sharma, who's a wonderful playwright.
Oh wow. Well done, Alfian!
Yay, I
Oh
did
my
it.
God, yes! You were
Yeah.
the quickest quickfire round answerer.
Yay!
Yay. And for that, we're gonna drop you off at the film festival and not kidnap you.
Yay! That's much appreciated. All right, take care, Joe. See you.
Okay,
Bye bye. Take care.
Bye,
Bye.
Alfian.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, Emily.
Wow, thanks so much for picking me up, Emily, and all the other guests as well. It's been a really fun time talking to all of them, and looking forward to the festival.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, okay. I think you're gonna have to change out of your chauffeur's hat and figuratively change to your executive directorial hat now.
Yes.
All right.
But before I do that, where can I take you?
To the bathroom. I've been holding in for a while.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
Thanks, Joe.
You're welcome.